There was a story that KPS often used to tell. A story from the time of partition, where as a young adolescent, his mother, before the journey to Lahore, had given him a knife and had told him that the young girl accompanying him, his sister, is the person to be killed first before he takes on any marauders who attack him on the way. It never came to pass. That young girl, my mother, is sitting here today. The man I'm about to talk about, my Mamaji, KPS, is a man who I have personal memories of. I also have a clear account of his professional career because I have reported from Punjab in the aftermath of his presence there. One of my earliest memories of Mamaji, of KPS, is from Guna, where my father was an SP, of a Standard Herald, a red Standard Herald, driving up from Assam, stopping outside a bungalow. And a man, an impossibly gigantic man, stepping out of that Standard Herald. I still don't know how he ever fit into a Standard Herald, but that was the car he drove. And he had driven it all the way from Assam to Guna in Madhya Pradesh and was on his way to Punjab. He was a man of heroic proportions. He was the only man of whom I can say that he was of heroic stature or who was a hero. And a democracy does not take easily to heroes. The process of pulling him down has started long ago and continues, and I will come back to it. But that does not take away the fact that in our times, as far as I know, that word can only be applied to one man, and he's that man. My memory of Mamaji is episodic, not like Chitwan and Rana here, who have grown up with him. I remember a trip to Shillong, bookshelves. It was those shelves that first gave me an idea that passions of mine, that literature and science can coexist in one mind, that you can have a passion for both. I think he wanted to study physics. He wanted to do an MSc in physics at one point of time in his life. Poetry. But it was also a memory of laughter, of humor. He was a man of great laughter, of humor. I think our holidays were one of the most fun times we ever had. Games, travels, picnics. Later memories, when we were in Delhi, my mother, my father, my sisters, he would often come there. The one thing that he shared in common was he would put me in a car, drive me to a bookshop and say, just buy any book you want. That was a passion he had. The other passion he had was chess. And I often played chess with him. He won far more often than I did. But as Rana had said, I have never met a worse loser in my life. He hated losing. The chess he played, the opening he played against me, and I just want to mention it even to people who don't know chess, is the King's Gambit. And it's an unsound opening. But it is the sign of the man that it was an opening that not only betrayed his chess intellect, but also his understanding of psychology. He always played the man. And the King's Gambit announces to the opponent that it is an unsound opening, but I don't think much of your chess abilities. I will play that unsound opening, I will play an aggressive opening, and with that opening, I will demolish you and defeat you. And that is that opening he always played. Even today, if somebody plays the King's Gambit against me, it terrifies me. That is one opening I still do not want to play because of that memory. This quality of his, this combination of intellect and understanding of the man, of psychology, was crucial to how he thought. And I think people have always misunderstood the quality of his intelligence. I have never met a man who thought more concretely, more from the specific. There is never, he will never give you general theories. He always spoke of particular incidents, and it was up to you and your intellect to take away the larger point that came about. Because of that, often what he did in Punjab was misunderstood or taken in very limited capacity. If he held a Hollywood night, a Bollywood night in Punjab at a certain point of time, it was a message that things had changed in Punjab to the point that at 12 at night, it was the police and the state that decided how things will happen. Of course, the image that went out was of KPS dancing with Sri Devi or whichever star he happened to call. And that served its purpose also, because in Punjab, that image mattered as well. And that is just what I want to return to keep this brief and quick, because we are over time again. I went to Punjab as a reporter in 1998 for the Indian Express when Shekhar was the editor. It was barely a few years after militancy had ended, and I reported as a district correspondent from Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Chandigarh over the next 5 years. The Punjab I was reporting was KPS Gill's Punjab. People forget how soon, how quickly, and how easily liberal democracy re-established itself. People who talk about police tyranny, high-handedness, forget that liberal democracy survives in Punjab today because KPS ensured that it does. As Ajay had quoted right in the beginning, he understood that liberal democracy does not flourish on its own. It needs people to defend it, establish it, renew it. And in Punjab, in those 5 years, I also understood something of almost a threefold process that is taking place, trying to undo not just his legacy, but of what he was trying to do and the message that the Indian state must take away. One is, of course, within the Sikhs themselves. There is no popular support for Khalistan or the Panthic cause, but there is a Panthic history being written in Punjab that continues to be written. In that history, Bhindranwale occupies a heroic image, and that image is being perpetrated in the UK, in Canada, and people in Punjab are still afraid to speak about that image. It is again, as everybody has spoken, it is a statement, I think both KPS, my father himself, often repeated that Jat chittar de yaar hunde ne. Thappad ke dost hote hain Jat. And in the Gurdwaras, the power still lies with the Panthic elements. That threat of rewriting history is real, and it continues to happen in Punjab even today. When I say threefold, the collaborators with the fundamentalists, the Sikh fundamentalists, are the liberal intelligentsia of this country. The same liberal intelligentsia that today speaks of the dangers of majoritarian violence does not talk of winning the hearts and minds of people who lynch people on train compartments. They want the rule of law. But when KPS Gill established the rule of the law, they wanted to win hearts and minds of fundamentalists in Punjab. And in doing so, they perpetrate lies, because I was a reporter there. I encountered these petty human rights movements. I met Ram Narayan Kumar, who is responsible for the report on disappearances. As a reporter, I was told that 25,000 people had disappeared in Punjab. I have had evenings with Ram Narayan Kumar talking about these things. So I tried to understand where these 25,000 people have come from. Who are these 25,000 people? It turns out Ram Narayan Kumar has just checked cremations in 3 crematoriums in Taran Taran to arrive at a figure of 1,500. The liberal intelligentsia and the Khalistanis have taken this figure and counted every crematorium in Punjab and multiplied it by that. It is like taking the fatalities of IT or the busiest crossing in Delhi and taking every blinking red light and multiplying it to arrive at Delhi's casualty figures, accident figures. That figure has no legs, no basis. And in the end, it turned out that 1,500 was also cremations, unidentified bodies, not people that had been killed by the police. That was never established. In this context, the fact is that figure of 25,000 continues to live in liberal writing, in Panthik writing, in Khalistani writing, despite the falsehood of that. The problem is very simple. The liberal mind is unwilling to believe that peace or liberal democracy needs force or the rule of law to establish it at times. Their problem with KPS Gill is not his methods, because I will say something here today. Ribeiro today is a man that every liberal today in the country quotes, because Ribeiro writes against Modi, justifiably so, rightly so. But the liberals quote the same man without talking of him in the same terms they talk of KPS, simply because their dislike for KPS is not the methods. Ribeiro's methods were cruder and less refined and less understanding of the psychology of the place. They hate KPS Gill because he succeeded. It is not to do with his methods, but his success that they have a problem with. That's the second fold. And the third fold problem is the problem of the right, which seems to believe that KPS succeeded because it was a ruthless application of force with no understanding of local situations. There is a joke my father often would tell of how a village in Punjab had a thanedar. वो सबको नमस्ते कहता था, would greet everybody, बिठा के चाय पिलाता था. A new thanedar came to that village. He lined up the entire village, told them one by one to lie down on the table. They were each given a good thrashing and told to go stand outside. And the village stood up and said, Hun thanedar aaya haiga. That is the Jat Sikh psychology of Punjab. That image is necessary, but that image is not reality. And the right thinks that that image is what won the battle against terrorism. They forget that the greatest number of killings in Punjab during terrorism took place under VP Singh and Chandrasekhar, who were trying to win hearts and minds. The greatest casualties of terrorists, unaccounted for, took place in the 1 year KPS Gill was not the DGP of Punjab. And it is this threefold tragedy between the Panthiks, the liberals, and the right that we lose out on what this man achieved and what he did in Punjab. The Akalis are participants in this tragedy, deliberately so. All of us know as family of how Prakash Singh Badal, my maternal grandfather's house, is adjacent to the Badal's house, to Sector 9, 254, 255. Prakash Singh Badal would, from behind, jump over the barbed wire to come meet KPS Gill in Sector 9, 254, to consult him during the years of terrorism. Today, he does not remember the man who has died. So, this tragedy gets to be compounded. It creates the situation, and I'll end with this. I was in Amritsar on the night, as a reporter for the Express, that the IC-814 was hijacked. I was reporting that for the Express. After everything had finished. And it was a monumental tragedy. There were, from the Central Coordination Committee, senior ministers, I think Mr. Shori will know more about it than I would at that point of time. There were 3 or 4 ministers talking to 3 or 4 people at the Amritsar airport. Parallel tracks negotiations were being conducted, each giving different instructions. Nobody taking action till the point the plane took off and landed in Kandahar. We forget that there were other hijackings that took place in Punjab before that. None of them ever flew out of Punjab because one man took responsibility and stopped those planes in Punjab and made sure those hijackings did not succeed. That man was KPS Gill. I was just a reporter stepping out of the airport. And as I was stepping out, There was a bunch of Punjab policemen sitting there and talking in Punjabi. They don't know who I am. They don't know. One of them just said one simple thing, कि आज गिल इत्थे हुंदा ते ए नहीं हुंदा. It is a sentiment as a country we will have to have occasion to remember over and over again. It's not just true of our family, it will be true of this nation over and over again. This is something we have lost and we will not get back again. Thank you.